Ministry of Justice, MOJ, Mr. Abdullahi Koli. Please, can you just take the high table, please? Thank you very much. Head of Programs, ICTJ Gambia, I want to invite Mr. Didier. Please, can you take the high table, please? Thank you. And also, I would love to invite National Youth Council, the director, Mr. Jaju. If you're around, sir, please take the thank you. And I would also love to invite the Deputy Permanent Secretary for MOY, Mr. Musa Mbain. If he's around, please take the ICE. Thank you so much. Okay, so today's event is going to be very productive, interactive, and I want all of us to just brace up because today's flight is going to be interesting. At this point in time, I want to welcome speak to her about it. No, speak to her about it. Apologies for that. There's no other chair here. This is full. Where is it? There should be one more chair. Okay, so before another important person arrives, I would love to invite the head of programs, ICTJ, the Gambia, so that he can come and give us his welcome remarks. Put your hands together as he comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, the Registrar General of the Ministry of Justice, the Executive Director of the National Youth Council in the Gambia, the representative of the UNDP OSHR post-CRC project. I think we need to set up a seat for him. Dear participants, regional delegates and colleagues, all protocols duly observed. It is a pleasure for me to welcome you all to this regional youth conference on youth participation in transitional justice processes, peace building, and governance. I would like to thank you for the precious time you took out of your busy schedule to be here with us this morning and during these 2 days, some of you having even traveled as far as the provinces of the Gambia, Alara, Urara, Sierra, West Coast region, NBR, and other countries of West and East Africa, notably Sierra Leone, Liberia, Côte d'Ivoire, Uganda, and Rwanda. Thank you. Thank you for being here. As ICTJ Head of Office, I'm really honored to have you all present and engaged in this important initiative. As you may already know, ICTJ is a non-governmental organization that supports victims to seek and obtain acknowledgement and redress for gross human rights violations, all those responsible to account, reform and build democratic institutions, and prevent the recurrence of gross human rights violations. As part of its mission, ICTJ also works to promote credible, transparent, and inclusive transitional justice processes based on the participation of women and young people. Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this conference is to create a platform where young Africans can come together and reflect on their commitment, their participation, and contribution for a better future for the continent and their countries. This conference is meant to allow young people, young Africans from different countries to learn from each other, exchange ideas, strategies, and initiatives to contribute to a transformative and impactful transition in their countries. It is also a platform to discuss their rights and the opportunities offered to them in the forms of policies and institutional frameworks, but also the challenges they face. The conference is supported by a project entitled Empowering Gambian Youth to Voice Their Demands to Duty Bearers on Issues of Governance, Reconciliation, and Peacebuilding. And the project will be actually presented just after the opening ceremony. And this project aims to empower Gambian youth as agents of change, build the capacity to constructively engage duty bearers, promote accountability, and facilitate their participation in governance. It started in February 2022 for a 2-year duration and should end next January 2025. But we hope to extend it to continue this engagement. The project is a contribution to the Gambia's transitional justice and reconciliation agenda, established after the end of the dictatorship in 2017. And this includes the TRRC final report and recommendations, the government's white paper on the implementation of the TRRC report's recommendations, and the National Development Plan 2023-2027, which prioritizes and articulates a vision to empower youth under its Pillar 6. But it also aimed to disseminate and implement the national and regional youth policies with the main purpose to reinforce social cohesion and peace building. The project also aligns with the UN Resolution 2250 and 2419 on youth, peace, and security, which the Gambia government has committed to realize. Ladies and gentlemen, I reaffirm the ICTJ's commitment towards supporting youth constructive participation to transitional justice agenda. I also want to reaffirm our commitment to collaborating with all stakeholders, including youth-led organizations, youth associations, and individual youth, towards fostering accountability and achieving the goal of justice, peace, and a secured future. To conclude my remarks, I want to thank our partners, the UN Peacebuilding Funds, the UNDP, and OSTHR post-TRRC project, and our wonderful implementing partners, Fantanka, Think Young Women, Our Nation, Our Voice, and Peace Ambassador. I want you to clap for them, please. I want to all know that coordination is always a challenge, By doing this project, we show that coordination is possible among different organizations. Thank you for that. I also want to say special thanks to the Gambian National Youth Council for the wonderful partnership that allows also this activity to take place. And a special thank to the ICTJ staff, Selu, Ansumana, Samba, Amanda, and Kadi. I know you put a lot of energy. It was not easy, but we are here. Congratulations and thank you. I'm not forgetting Binos for the nice banners, the t-shirt, the bags, everything. Thank you very much. Thank you for the tireless effort to make this activity a success. Hard work always pays off, and the younger generation will certainly be the ones to bring about the change we all want for our continent and our countries. Your country can be proud of you. I thank you all for your participation and support and wish you all a rich contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Didier. Thank you. And we thank you too. You're such an amazing boss. So thank you so much for this. Okay, so before Mr. Didier came, I said we're going to have another important person to come and join the high table. And right now I want to welcome the representative of UNDPRL, and that is Sambu Nget. Please join the high table. Thank you. With much further ado, I would love as well the representative of UNDPRL to give a statement on behalf of the UNDP/OHCRC. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Sambu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Amanda. The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Mr. Musambai, the Registrar General, Ministry of Justice, Mr. Abdullah Koli, the Executive Director, National Youth Council, Mr. Alaji Jaju, the Head of Program for ICTJ, Mr. Didier, UN colleagues here present, distinguished participants, good morning. It is an honor to address you today on behalf of the United Nations Development Program's resident representative, Ms. Mandisa Masologo, at this significant regional youth conference on youth participation in traditional justice processes, peace building, governance, organized by the International Center for Transitional Justice in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program. Unfortunately, Ms. Mandisa could not be here due to an engagement outside the country. This gathering is a testament to the Gambia's unwavering commitment to addressing the pressing challenges of youth participation in traditional justice processes, peace building, and governance. Distinguished participants, this conference exemplifies the alignment of our collective vision with the United Nations Development Program's Pact for the Future. The Pact is a call to action for strengthening resilience, advancing justice, and ensuring sustainable development for all. The Pact recognizes the transformative potential of young people as key stakeholders in achieving these goals. As we prepare for the Regional Youth Conference youth participation in transitional justice processes, peace building, and governance, it is essential to recognize the pivotal role each of you will play in representing the Gambia on the regional stage. Your participation and contributions are vital in shaping the outcomes that will drive regional as well as local youth participation in traditional justice processes, peace building, and governance forward. This regional youth conference serves not only to prepare you, but also to provide a comprehensive understanding of the youth participation in traditional justice processes, peace building, and governance, ensuring that our national delegation is well equipped to engage effectively and advocate for our shared priorities. The United Nations Development Programme's commitment to youth participation in traditional justice processes, peace building, and governance resonates deeply with a statement of our United Nations Development Programme's administrator, that is Mr. Akim Steiner, who said youths should be meaningfully involved as stakeholders, not only in addressing the root causes of conflict, but also in creating inclusive systems that ensure long-term peace and justice. This sentiment is clearly articulated through our support and partnerships in the Gambia, where our collaboration with the International Center for Transitional Justice has been instrumental in advancing the country's youth agenda. Through our joint initiatives, we have worked tirelessly to enhance the capacity of national institutions and promote sustainable practices. Our support extends to various projects aimed at youth empowerment, inclusivity, and linking them to governance and development. These efforts are not only crucial for meeting our country program document targets, but also for ensuring that Gambia remains at the forefront of youth participation in transitional justice processes, peace building, and governance actions. As we reflect on the challenges of transitional justice, peace building, and governance, let us remember one underneath truth. Young people are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the catalysts of today. Throughout history, this is not without its hurdles. Often young people are passive recipients of decisions made by others rather than active architects of their own destinies. Today, we challenge that notion. Today, we reaffirm that youth participation is not optional, it is essential. I am pleased to note that the Gambia's position in youth participation in transitional justice processes, peace building, and governance is well aligned with the UN's broader push to implement strategies like the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 and 2419. This affirms that youth participation is not just a right, it is a necessity for sustaining peace. Let us leverage this momentum and translate policy into practice on youth, peace, and security, which calls for the active involvement of youth in promoting peace and addressing systemic injustice. When it comes to governance, ladies and gentlemen, inclusion is key. Good governance thrives when it reflects the voices of all, particularly those who have historically been excluded. Yet in many societies, youth remain marginalized from decision-making processes. Let us commit today to breaking these barriers. To young people in this room, I say to you, demand your seat at the table. To policymakers, recognize the value of youth contributions and create avenues for meaningful engagement. The governance systems we build must be inclusive, transparent, and responsive to the aspirations of young people. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look ahead to this regional youth conference, let us reaffirm our commitment to these key messages. The road ahead is challenging, but with determination and collaboration, we can achieve meaningful progress. The Gambia's voice is powerful, and together we can advocate for ambitious youth participation in transitional justice processes, peace building, and governance that reflect the urgency of the situation we face. As we convene in this conference, let us not just exchange ideas, but chart actionable pathways forward. Let us equip young leaders with the knowledge, resources, and networks needed to drive change. And most importantly, let us pledge to support each other in this journey, recognizing that peace, justice, and good governance are collective endeavors. In closing, we would like to express our gratitude to all the stakeholders for their unwavering dedication and to all the delegates for your commitment to this cause. The United Nations Development Programme remains committed to supporting the Gambia in its journey towards a sustainable and resilient future. I leave you with this thought. The future we envision, a future of peace, justice, and dignity, is not some distant dream. It begins with the actions we take today. Together, let us amplify the voices of youth, strengthen their participation, and co-create societies where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. With this, I thank you and wish you all a productive and successful pre-COP meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sambu. At this point in time, we want to have the keynote address by the Chairperson, National Youth Council, and that will be done by Mr. Jaju. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremony, Madam Amanda, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Mr. Musa Mbai, ably representing the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Mr. Koli, the Registrar General at the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Didier, ICTJ Head of Programs, the representative of the UNDP resident representative, international delegates that are present here among our midst. Welcome to Banjul, the smiling coast of Africa. Our national delegates from the various youth groups, and of course those from the regions and from the various institutions here present, and all other protocols respectfully and duly observed. I bring you warm greetings from the National Youth Council of the Gambia, and by extension every young person in this country. We wish to appreciate the efforts and foresight of the ICTJ office in the Gambia for organizing this very important convergence for young people of the Gambia and by extension the sub-region, to share experiences amongst ourselves to better align the position of young people in transitional justice processes. This convergence is also helping us address the issue of knowledge gap, which has been identified as among the key barriers to youth participation in transitional justice processes. The experiences we share from our various countries of challenges, of success, will go a long way in enhancing youth participation. Acknowledging the importance of the role of young people in ensuring legitimacy and contributing new insights, scholarship and policy debates have recently recognized various avenues for ensuring greater inclusion of youth in peace processes. This recognition of the importance of youth inclusion can be seen in 3 recent United Nations Security Council resolutions, namely Resolutions 2250 of 2015, 2419 of 2018, and 2535 of 2020. This shift is also evident in the African Union, the EU's approach to peace processes and transitional justice. In 2019, a continental framework on youth, peace, and security was adopted with the objective of facilitating the meaningful engagement and participation of African youth in all spectrums of peace, security at national, regional, and continental levels. Whilst various policies adopted by the United Nations, the European Union, and other continental institutions have included strong commitments to inclusion as key principles of transitional justice, we wish to recognize the efforts of the AU for taking this step further. Its policy explicitly includes a focus on youth as key constituency for inclusion. It also includes within its 9 fundamental principles commitments to inclusiveness, equity, and non-discrimination, and due regard for gender and generational dimensions of violations and, of course, transitional processes. In the Gambia, after the 2016 presidential polls and the resultant political impasse, drew a new chapter in our political landscape. There was need to go through truth-seeking, reconciliation, but most importantly, accountability, considering the experiences of the 22 years of dictatorship. Thus, the beginning of the Gambia's transitional justice process. As young people, and learning from the experience of other countries, we decided to engage relevant stakeholders to confirm our relevance and the need to participate in the processes from the beginning right through the end. At this juncture, I will want to highlight a few that we have done as a council together with our youth groups from the beginning of the TJ processes up to now. When the Truth Reconciliation Commission was formed, we insisted on the need to have a youth rep within the process. Not only did we have a youth rep in the process, but the National Youth Council and our partners took the lead in identifying who sits for us as young people within the commission. We had an open call where people applied online and, of course, offline. We shortlisted, interviewed, and submitted 3 names to the presidency. It was out of these 3 that one was chosen to represent young people at the TRRC Commission. During the discussions on having a new constitution, again a commission was formed. As young people, with the leadership of the council, we again went through the same process of ensuring that we had a youth representative that sits for young people within the Constitutional Review Commission. And throughout the entire process, we led engagements with young people and even developed a position paper when the first draft of the Constitution was out, which security sector reform, again as a council, we sat in most of those processes representing young people. But to also have young people better understand the entire transitional justice process, we went around the country and organized nationwide dialogues on transitional processes. This was intended to have young people have a gist of what the entire transitional justice processes are and how can we better participate in the entire processes. So this we have done across the length and breadth of the country. Together with the support of our partners, including UNICEF, we formed transitional justice clubs in schools across the length and breadth of the country. Not only did we form these clubs, but we also formed regional chapters of these clubs. And this was able to take in the views of young people in terms of enhancing capacity, but of course contributing to the processes of the TJ. The UN Security Council Resolution 2250 also recognized the role of young people in the maintenance of peace and security. And in that regard, the National Youth Council led the process of forming a National Youth Action Plan on youth, peace, and security. This we are happy to note that the validation was conducted just last week. And once launched before the end of the year or early part of 2025, the Gambia will be perhaps the 3rd country within the sub-region to have a national action plan on youth, peace, and security, and among the 10th countries in the entire world to have an action plan on youth, peace, and security. Indeed, a great feat that ought to be celebrated. To ensure we are part of political processes, the council, together with our partners, also formed the Not Too Young to Run campaign that was started way back in 2017 during the parliamentary elections, and this continued. And today we are happy that in the National Assembly, after the 2022 parliamentary elections, we have 9 young people representing 19% of parliament who are young people, and of course representing our voices. To alleviate the issue of poverty among young people and unemployment, the Gambia government last year launched the National Action Plan to ensure employment is created amongst our young people, and the target is to create over 150,000 jobs within the next 4 years. Government recognizes the fact that a lot of the troubles that happen within countries, crisis or whatsoever it might be, a lot of it, again, is as a result of young people not having employment, or certainly poverty amongst young people can be a great contributing factor. And this is the reason government formed or created a national action plan that ensures that within the next 4 years, we are able to create over 150,000 jobs for our young people. To continue, the only sure way to ensure gains made in the TJ process are maintained for posterity is to recognize young people as not just beneficiaries of the process, but equally as key stakeholders. This is justified by the fact that we form more than 60% of populations of our various countries within the sub-region, from the Gambia to Sierra Leone to Rwanda, you name it. In the event of crisis, unfortunately, we are both victims, but at the same time, we are equally perpetrators. We are or will be the leadership of our countries now or in the near future, and therefore bear the responsibility of taking the gains made in the TJ process to higher heights. To conclude, this meeting is a great opportunity for all of us to learn and share best practices and place youth at the center of TJ engagements. We have our unique circumstances as nations, but a lot in common that we can share. I therefore urge all of us to network as much as possible and share experiences that we can forge ahead. On this note, I wish to thank all of you for your kind attention and wishing all of us a successful 2 days TJ dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jaju, for that wonderful keynote address. At this point in time, I want to welcome Mr. Abdullahi Kohli, Ministry of Justice, to come give a statement. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Mr. by DPS Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sambu representing UNDP, Mr. Didier, ICTJ Head of Programs, Mr. Alaji Jaju, Executive Director, National Youth Council, distinguished guests, youth leaders, and an esteemed representative from across Africa. My name is Abdullahi Kohli. I'm here to represent or deliver a statement on behalf of the Solicitor General. It is a privilege to address you today at this important regional conference on youth participation in transitional justice, peace building and governance. This gathering marks a critical moment in our collective journey towards shaping the future of justice, peace, and governance across our continent. Today is not merely a gathering, it is a call to action. It is an opportunity for the voices of young people to be heard and to take the lead in advancing the cause of justice and peace. Peace, as we all know, is the foundation of all development. Without peace, no meaningful progress is possible. No nation can develop without a stable, just, and peaceful society. By the end of this conference, I trust that we will leave here with a renewed sense of commitment to advocating for peace, justice, and accountability in all aspects of governance. In the Gambia, our journey from 2 decades of authoritarian rule under the former regime to a new democratic chapter has been both challenging and inspiring. Since 2017, we have been working tirelessly toward healing, truth, and justice. Our efforts have uncovered the painful truths of the past while igniting hope for a more just and inclusive society. The TRRC has played a pivotal role in uncovering the atrocities that remain hidden for over 20 years. It has given a voice to victims and empowered the Gambian people to confront their painful past. These efforts go beyond merely confronting history. They are building the foundation for a future rooted in human rights and respect for the rule of law. As we know, youth represent more than 60% of the population in the Gambia and in many African countries. You, the youth, are not the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of today. Your involvement in transitional justice is critical. Your participation will play a central role in shaping a peaceful and democratic society, advocating for accountability, and leading the call for reforms that will build stronger institutions and a fairer society for the future generations. Youth have always been catalysts for change. In the Gambia, young people were instrumental in the 2016 election that peacefully ushered in a democratic dispensation. Since then, youth have been at the forefront of the transitional justice process, organizing community outreach programs, leading awareness campaigns, and working closely with the government to ensure criminal accountability for all crimes committed in the Gambia. This conference highlights the critical role young people play in transitional justice, not only in the Gambia, but across the continent. Among you today are emerging leaders and justice advocates. Together, our mission is to share lessons learned, collaborate in confronting challenges, and work together to create innovative solutions for deeper youth involvement in transitional justice, peace building, and governance in our countries. The inclusion of youth in truth-seeking, accountability, and institutional reforms is embedded in the African Youth Transitional Justice Policy. This makes it clear that young people are not just stakeholders in this process. You are co-creators of justice and peace. Your role should not be limited to being passive recipients of these processes, but active partners with a shared responsibility to contribute to accountability, build strong institutions, and create a more just and equitable society. The principle of leave no one behind is central to our efforts, and it's critical that we ensure youth, especially women, girls, and persons with disability, are not marginalized in these processes. Their full participation is necessary to uphold universal human rights, SDG 5, and ensure access to economic opportunities for all, SDG 8. This conference provides you with a unique opportunity to deepen your understanding of transitional justice mechanism and exchange ideas with like-minded peers and policymakers. As leaders of tomorrow, this is your chance to influence policies that reflect your generation's vision for peace, justice, and equity. The Gambia government remains steadfast in its commitment to implementing the TRRC recommendations including reparation for victims and the establishment of special tribunal for the prosecution of crimes committed in the Gambia from July 1994 to January 2017. The post-TRRC unit, housed at the Ministry of Justice, continues to work diligently on the 263 recommendations from the TRRC report, many of which have been already put into action. The unit is also collaborating with civil society organizations to ensure effective implementation across the country. However, the road to justice and accountability is not without its challenges. Delay in prosecutions, resource constraints, and the delicate balance between accountability and national unity are real obstacles. But I have no doubt that with your active participation, we can overcome these challenges and ensure that transitional justice becomes a powerful tool for lasting peace and stability. This conference is not simply an opportunity for dialogue, it is a call to action, like I earlier mentioned. I encourage you all to share your thoughts, share your views, and contribute to the development of concrete ideas that will empower young people, advocate for good governance, and embed transitional justice as a cornerstone of our society. As we proceed, let us use this platform to amplify our voices, inspire one another, and reaffirm our commitments to building a future where justice is not just a principle, but a reality for all. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jadi. Thank you so much. All right, so on our agenda, we have the opening remarks by the DPS, Ministry of Youth and Sport. Can we have a representative doing it on behalf of the DPS, Ministry of Youth and Sport? Oh, yes, okay. Thank you. Put your hands together as...
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The Registrar General, Ministry of Justice, the representative of the UNDP, the Executive Director, National Youth Council, ICTJ, Head of Programs, distinguished guests, and of course, I acknowledge my colleague, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Finance, here in the hall. Our distinguished delegates from the continent, our dear youth delegates from across Africa, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Bakari Y. Baji, who in spirit is present here with us, but physically due to important national engagements, he could not be here, and asked me to come and read his statement. And I read. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at this remarkable gathering, the Regional Youth Conference on Youth Participation in Transitional Justice, Peacebuilding and Governance. I extend warm welcome to our distinguished guests, partners, and especially the youth leaders present today who embody the strength, resilience, and potential of Africa's next generation. The Gambia, like many other African countries, has a very youthful population. According to the Gambia 2024 Population and Housing Census, the Gambia's population pyramid for 2024 displays a broad base with a narrow top, indicating a youthful population with high birth rate. These statistics makes youth quite important in decision making regarding development initiatives embarked by the government of the Gambia. In recognition of the important role played by youth, the government of the Gambia places a very high premium in their development to harness the demographic dividend. This conference could not have come at a more pivotal time. With similar demographic across many African countries, the future of our continent lies in the hands of our young people. Yet, while youth have been instrumental in driving transformative change, such as their role in the 2016 presidential election and their support for the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission in the Gambia. The journey towards inclusive governance and justice is far from complete. Youth participation in transitional justice is not just an ideal, it is a necessity. The African Union Transitional Justice Policy underscores the critical role of youth in truth-seeking, accountability, and reform implementation. These processes are fundamental to ensuring a sustainable future rooted in justice, equality, and peace. However, significant challenges remain, including limited access to opportunities, inadequate knowledge, and insufficient platforms for engagement. This conference provides us with a unique opportunity to address these challenges head-on. Over the next 2 days, we will explore innovative approaches to youth participation, exchange experiences, and foster regional networks that can amplify the voices of young people. Together, we will examine best practices from countries like South Africa, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Rwanda, while also reflecting on the progress and gaps in the Gambia's own transitional justice journey. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this conference resonates deeply with the spirit which promotes peaceful, just, and inclusive societies. Life and SDG 8, emphasizing gender equality and decent work for all. We must ensure that no one is left behind, especially women, girls, and persons with disabilities, whose inclusion is vital to achieving our shared vision. To the youth here today, I say this: you are not just participants in this process, you are leaders and change makers. Your talents, ideas, and resilience are the foundation upon which we will build a better, stronger Africa. We need your voices not only in the aftermath of truth commissions, but also in the long-term implementation of their recommendations. Our ministry is committed to creating an enabling environment for all participants in governance, peace building, and transitional justice. We will work tirelessly to remove the barriers that hinder your progress, from high-level poverty to limited political inclusion. Together with our partners, we will invest in capacity building, promote knowledge sharing, and establish platforms that empower you to take charge of your future. As we embark on this journey, let us remember that change begins with collective action. The success of transitional justice and peace-building efforts depends on strong partnerships between youth, government, civil society, and international stakeholders. This conference, therefore, is a testament to what we can achieve when we come together with a shared purpose. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the International Center for Transitional Justice, the National Youth Council, the UN Peacebuilding Fund, the United Nations Development Programme, and all other partners who have made this conference possible. I also salute the dedication of the youth delegates who have traveled from near and far to be here today. Let this conference be a turning point, a moment when we not only discuss ideas, but also take concrete steps towards a more just, inclusive, and peaceful Africa. The road ahead may be challenging, but I am confident that with your energy and commitment, we will rise to the occasion and leave a legacy for generations to come. I thank you and I wish you all a productive and inspiring conference. On that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my singular honor to declare the Regional Youth Conference on Youth Participation in Transitional Justice Processes, Peace Building and Governance officially open. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. At this point in time, we're going to have a group photo outside. We have people who will be delegating that. So let's just quickly go have a group photo, and then when we come back, we continue the event. Thank you so much. We do it quickly, and then we come back. Madam Kadi, please, and team, can you please guide us so that we can have our photos outside? Thank you. Let's go to